Okay, guys, I wanted to come on here and kind of discuss what's going on while I try to get things situated here. Um, but yeah, apparently we have, I guess, a 2 week, 3 week, month-long situation we're going to deal with, maybe longer. Not saying that's going to happen because apparently, from what people are saying, that if we go through with this, things might get better. Not saying that people still won't have it, the situation, but at least it will kind of slow it down, slow the spread and, allow life to slowly get back to normal. I mean, yeah, we'll feel the after effects of it, there's no doubt. Um, but the thing is, what's it affecting? What's it going to affect? What is it affecting? How is it changing things from an entertainment pop culture perspective? Well, that's a really interesting question. You see, we do know by now that WrestleMania is going to be at the Performance Center. Or is it? You see, now there's a report going around that not only are some of the wrestlers not happy with this, some are okay, some are not, depending on how you view it. But now there's a rumor going around that there's discussions maybe to delay Mania to at least June and put it at Madison Square Garden, which honestly would make more sense. Yes, it would hold about maybe 20,000 fans, but it's still enough time to give people plenty of time to do whatever. Now, there are some people that do debate and argue the fact that, hey, wait a minute, what if this thing goes longer? What if what if, even though some things may be lifted, they restrict certain things like, gatherings of, that many people to less or half, you know, and, people could probably understand where they're coming from with that. So from a business standpoint, Vince doesn't want to have to deal with the loss and wants to recuperate that loss, as best he can and just get out of the way in case anything else comes up. Now, does it make sense to have it in an empty venue? No. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it make sense, but it's going to be unique, I'll say that. And, there are some that might say might flesh out the storytelling in the matches, might make them more interesting. But it makes you wonder, like, what superstars are not for this? I can guarantee you, I think I know of a few, and they currently hold the 2 top titles in WWE right now. But I think, honestly, hopefully here's what I think happens. Here's what I think. If they do end up, according to reports, if they do end up switching it around to where, okay, we're going to delay it, hold it off till June, at least maybe the first Sunday in June and then go with that, and that's understandable. But if they decide, hey, look, we're going to do this now, hopefully they can explain to them, look, we don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks, or in the next few months. So just get out of the way. It's like, it's basically safer, being more safe than sorry kind of deal. Even though I'm pretty sure all of the people in WWE, including Vince McMahon, whether you like the guy or you don't, feel this is getting overblown, despite the fact that, yes, you do have to take it seriously and be careful. It's still something that people are overreacting about and just, letting get out of hand. So it's gonna be really interesting in the next week or so whether or not the reports of maybe they're gonna them trying to delay it to June for MSG will become factual or not, or Vince is going to stand his ground and just have it at the PC, because there's now even reports going around, courtesy of the French commentator at WWE, whether he's a reliable source or not, that they might even think of putting TakeOver Tampa Bay on a regular and make a regular 2-hour NXT episode of a regular episode of NXT into the takeover that they were hoping for Tampa Bay, and then throughout the week sprinkle the Hall of Fame introductions on both Raw and SmackDown. So we'll have to wait and see, but yeah, the report now is they're probably thinking of going and maybe trying to delay it to June from MSG. But besides that, what other things are going on? What other events are being, affected by this? Well, BabsCon, which is short for Bay Area Brony Spectacular, or Bay Area Brony Spectacular and Beyond, BabsCon is still planning to go on as scheduled. They've made the announcement that they've are monitoring the situation, and that if they have to, yeah, they will make an announcement that we can't do it because we're told not to. They will make that, a fact. And I understand some people are not too thrilled with them right now. Like, man, you're just you're just delaying the inevitable. But I think what BabsCon is doing, I think what the people behind BabsCon is doing is they're taking the precautions. Like they're probably prepared to accept, okay, we're probably gonna have to pull the plug for this year. But they're also trying to look at the real facts. Like, okay, we understand this. We're looking at, we understand what's going on here. We get it. But, and when I talk about the real facts, I'm talking about they're looking at the positives over the negatives. They're looking at this guideline that actually is going to end end within 15 days. Like if it's happening now, it should end around the beginning of April, and hopefully that lessens things and that opens the door. That's what they're hoping for. That's what they're hoping for. Now, if nothing happens, and again, yeah, they're going to come out and announce it. But they are making precautions. They are talking to the hub, the Hyatt Region Hotel in Burlingame that, hey, we want to put these sanitizers in these different locations so that, these are automatic sanitizers in different locations, or press sanitizers, and Echo soap or Poulet soaps or whatever, so people can wash their hands and sanitize their hands, while they're walking about, mingling. They're at least trying to take precautions, and they're letting the Hyatt region know about that. But again, there are people, even those in the Brony community, Brony Pegasus community, they're not too thrilled with this. They're like, you're just delaying the inevitable. Like I said earlier, they're just delaying the inevitable. And I think they know that, but they're trying to look at it from a more positive perspective. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them that work behind the scenes at BabsCon are wrestling fans, and they see what's going on at WrestleMania, and they're like, look, even though they're just going to have no audience possibly, they're still going on with their thing, and that's going to be after the 15-day deal. So you know what? We're going to try to go on with our deal, and we're going to take the necessary precautions. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting what they do. They're waiting it out. They are waiting it out. And again, some people feel it's irresponsible for them to do. And maybe it is. Maybe this might be something that teaches them a lesson of, hey, you either postpone it or you just call it off for the year. Stop. Here's what I think. I think it's going to be a lesson. I think what's going to happen is if they're not able to hold it and they're told by the county, you can't do it, you got to postpone it, you got to cancel it, it's going to be a lesson to them to take into the future, like, okay, when something like this happens again, which it won't, that we need to be better prepared. Like, okay, we know we know it's gonna affect us. Let's just call it right now. Make the decision right now. So they're just waiting it out and hoping for the best. They're looking at the positive, from what I can tell. What else is being affected by this? Well, what about movie theaters? Well, we do know that for the next 6 to 12 weeks, AMC and Regal have shut down operations. That means basically in the next 6 to 12 weeks, they will reopen. So you take these 2 weeks that we got, and then you add an additional 4 weeks, and at least by May, maybe June, you'll get the theaters back up and running again. And it's unfortunate for people that have to work at these places that they're not going to be able to work, but hopefully they'll be okay afterwards. They'll be called back. Um, anyway, what was I saying? I'm checking my time here. Okay. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. And like I said, hopefully they'll be called back. But in response to this, a lot of well, not a lot of movie studios, but certain movie studios are doing something a little out of the box. For example, Universal's been making waves recently with the announcement that they are going to. Um, this is weird to say because there are going to be theaters that are open that are not AMC or Regal owned. There'll still be some that are open. They're just going to go with the 50 or less capacity, to kind of, make sure the virus doesn't spread. But what Universal is doing is kind of like out of the box, and it's something that I think a lot of studios, major or independent, should probably follow suit on until this passes, which will be faster than you think, in my opinion. But basically, Universal's taking the initiative of taking a lot of the movies that they currently have in theaters and those that will be debuting in the next few weeks, and they're saying, you know what? Because a lot of these major chains are shutting down for at least a month and a half, too, we're going to give you the movies on your screen. We're going to transfer the movies from the big screen to your screen. So if you were looking forward to see Trolls World Tour at the box office, you get to see it at home. You're looking forward to see Invisible Man, you could see it at home. All these movies that Universal and the animation division DreamWorks has had planned for theatrical release, you'll be able to view at home for around $19.99. So basically a little bit more, maybe about $4, $3 more than an average movie ticket. That's not matinee. You'll be able to see the movies on the big screen. That will be on the big screen at home in the comfort of your house. Now, whether or not they'll be copy protected, that's going to be the thing. We don't know. Hopefully they are, because there will be some people that try to video capture them or use a DVD recorder or Blu-ray recorder to record them. So hopefully they will be copy protected against that. And again, I don't know if there's any other movie studios that are going to take an example from this, but it'd be intriguing if they did. It'd be really intriguing. And it will really be helpful in this time, especially these next 2 to 3 weeks. People have to be confined in their homes temporarily or for a bit until this whole thing works out. And speaking of movies, I mentioned this in my DVD Blu-ray update video that you will see before this, hopefully. And that is Frozen 2. Frozen 2, a couple weeks ago, recently came out to Blu-ray and DVD. It came out digitally a few weeks before. Came out to Blu-ray and digital and 4K on the last Tuesday of February. Now, originally, it was slated and planned to be released on Disney Plus about around June. It takes about a 3 to 4 month period. Well, because of what's going on, Disney decided to make the decision that, hey, we're going to release it 3 months early, a few weeks after it debuted on Blu-ray and 4K, and, here you go. Frozen 2 on Disney Plus. Which was kind of ironic for me because I bought the movie and now it's on Disney Plus. But it's understandable because, Disney had to shut down their parks at least for the next few weeks to kind of slow down the virus, or at least in correlation with what's going on in both California and Florida. So, yeah, to, I guess, ease people's minds, they decided to take the number one animated movie of all time, and say, you know what? We're not gonna let you wait until June. We'll put it out right now to ease your minds, to give you something to watch while you're kind of stuck at home, in a way. So, yeah, this situation is, so yeah, that's the impact this situation, if you will, has had. That, WrestleMania, it's going to be at the Performance Center, maybe, depending on whether or not you believe the reports that it might end up, being delayed till June for Madison Square Garden. Takeover in the Hall of Fame events, maybe changed up a little bit. Takeover will be a special edition episode of NXT, and the Hall of Fame speeches will be on part of Raw and SmackDown. Babs gone. Some people are saying that they're making a mistake waiting to the last minute, but to me, I think again, in my opinion, they're looking at the positives, not the negatives, and I think they are ready to accept the announcement that if they can't do it, they will let us know. But they are working to try to make sure that if it does happen in some capacity, they have plenty of sanitizer and hand soap and all that, whatever, available for people, for the guests that will be there. And as far as movies that are supposed to come out that are being delayed or whatever, or are going to go on as scheduled, movie studios, companies like Universal, Comcast. What? What? Sorry about that, but like I said, Universal's gotten, studios like companies like Universal was owned by Comcast Xfinity, is releasing the movies that will be in theaters, that will still be in theaters, on demand for like $19.99 or something for people to enjoy at home during this time. So, yeah, it's quite the impact going on. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on this whole impact that this situation is having media-wise, pop culture-wise? Let me know what you think down below about some of the decisions that are being made. You think, WrestleMania will remain at the PC or be delayed till June for MSG? Do you think people at BabsCon is making the right decision and just looking at the positives over the negatives and waiting things out to see if maybe they'll be able to do it? You think Universal is making the right decision, Comcast Xfinity, by releasing some of the theatrical movies that are already in theaters or will be in theaters on demand for the time being to, kind of comfort people in this time? And what are your thoughts about Disney releasing Frozen 2 3 months before its original Disney Plus release to do the same as what Universal is planning to do the same as what Universal is planning to do, I should say, with their movies in the coming future? Let me know down below, comment if you like, and I will talk to y'all later.